While the Sussex haters continue to hate on Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, they are in rooms they'll never see, building things they'll never understand until they change the world. There was a saying I read, and it goes like this. Successful people read books, unsuccessful people watch TV. Successful people talk about ideas, unsuccessful people talk about other people. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on the winners. And we all know where the Sussex haters fall. Successful people don't waste their energy explaining themselves to small minds. They're too busy shaping the future. Meghan is often misunderstood by those who measure success through headlines and gossip. Small people. But true success, lasting, intentional success, isn't loud. It's focused. It's visionary. There's a quote often attributed to Eleanor Roosevelt, and it says, "Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people." Meghan lives on the side of ideas. She's not in rooms to be seen. She's in them to shift the conversation, challenge the status quo, and amplify voices that are often silenced. There's a reason why she surrounds herself with high achievers and global thinkers. Because successful people talk about ideas. They read, they ask questions, they build. They don't waste energy tearing others down. They focus on elevating what matters. That's the difference between being famous and being influential. Meghan isn't chasing trends. She's shaping culture. While critics are busy dissecting her life, she's building a legacy. As the saying goes, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Meghan is focused on impact, purpose, and progress. And that's why she continues to rise. Gracefully, intentionally, unapologetically, with a circle that reflects the same values.
While the noise around Meghan and Harry continues to echo from small minds in loud places, they're doing something different, something deeper. They're not clapping back. They're not lowering themselves. They're not performing for the cameras. They're building, in rooms you'll never see, with people you'll never meet, on missions you'll never understand unless you shift your entire mindset. Because here's the truth, winners don't announce every move. They execute in silence. Losers, though, they obsess. They pick apart the lives of people doing more than they ever dared to try. That's why Meghan's name lives rent-free in so many bitter mouths, because she represents everything they'll never be: free, unbothered, focused, driven. Let me put it like this. Successful people talk about ideas. Unsuccessful people talk about people. And Meghan? She's not here to entertain your gossip. She's here to architect change. That's what's always separated her from the noise, the clarity of her purpose. The way she walks through chaos with a vision so precise it unnerves those who find comfort in confusion. People want to reduce her to headlines. They want to define her by the controversy they created around her. But Meghan isn't here to be defined by anyone but herself. That's the power that terrifies the people who tried to box her in. She wasn't supposed to have a voice. She wasn't supposed to question the system. She wasn't supposed to build anything outside of it. And yet, here she is. Not only building, but thriving. Not only speaking, but leading. Not only surviving, but redefining what it means to stand in your truth when the world is trying to silence you. That kind of strength isn't taught, it's chosen every day with every headline, every smear, every insult dressed up as criticism. Meghan chose growth, chose progress, chose self-definition over submission. And some people can't handle that. Because see, when someone walks away from a system that benefits from their silence, it exposes the cracks. It reveals just how fragile the structure always was. Meghan didn't just leave the royal mold, she shattered it. She looked the institution in the face and said, "I will not shrink to fit your comfort." And in doing so, she gave other people permission to expand beyond their limitations too. Let that sink in. You don't have to agree with every choice she makes. You don't have to worship her. But if you're honest, if you remove the bias, what you'll see is someone who has faced unrelenting hatred and still stood taller than the lies. Someone who's been dissected, dismissed, and doubted, and yet chose purpose over pettiness every time. And that's where the real divide lies, not between royalty and rebellion, but between those who build and those who belittle. The people who spend their time refreshing gossip blogs and watching hate videos disguised as commentary? They've convinced themselves they're informed, but all they're doing is consuming poison, repackaged as entertainment. Meanwhile, Meghan is reading, building, connecting. She's not watching the crowd, she's leading the conversation. Let me be real with you. She's not just navigating a different lane, she's paving it. For women who've been told they're too much, for people of color who've been silenced in powerful rooms, for those who've been told that being quiet is the only way to survive. Meghan said not anymore, and now they're mad the mold doesn't fit her. But it was never meant to, because true influence doesn't show up with flash. It shows up with substance. It doesn't scream for attention. It moves with intention. That's the difference between trending and transforming. Meghan doesn't need to dominate the headlines to be effective. Her work speaks for itself. And it speaks loudly. Whether she's advocating for women's rights, uplifting marginalized voices, or driving conversations about equity and mental health, she's not doing it for applause. She's doing it because it matters, because someone has to. And while her critics are still gossiping about outfits and protocol, Meghan is out here reshaping philanthropy and reimagining leadership. That's the shift they can't comprehend. She's not here to follow tradition. She's here to forge paths, and she does it all with a level of grace and intention that exposes the emptiness of her critics' arguments. They're not upset because she's failing. They're upset because she's thriving without their approval. Understand this. People who live to tear others down rarely build anything themselves. And when they see someone else building something bold, it makes them uncomfortable. That's why they watch her every move. Not because she's failing, but because deep down, they know she's winning. And she's doing it without playing their game. She's not showing up to silence the noise. She's showing up to do the work, the real work, the kind that lives beyond the headlines, the kind that shapes generations, not just news cycles. Because Meghan didn't leave to run away. She left to rise. And rise she did, with clarity, with strategy, with power rooted not in position but in purpose. That's the piece her critics will never get. They're still stuck on the scandal while she's focused on the solution. They're still spinning stories while she's writing a legacy. And legacies, unlike gossip, don't fade when the attention moves on. They endure. So go ahead, watch the haters talk, watch them tweet. Watch them build content out of her name like unpaid interns begging for a click. Meanwhile, Meghan is in rooms where change is made, conversations are elevated, and impact is measured not in views, but in value. She's not looking to be the story. She's looking to change the narrative entirely. And she is. Because while some are stuck in bitterness, Meghan is building bridges. While others are scrolling through drama, she's shaping a different kind of future. One with integrity, with purpose, with depth. And if that makes her a threat, so be it. Because the truth is, the most dangerous kind of woman is one who knows her worth, speaks with intention, and moves with purpose. Meghan is that woman, and no amount of noise can change that. So if you're still watching just to hate, ask yourself this: what have you built? What have you changed? What have you contributed to the world besides commentary on someone else's life? Because Meghan, she's not watching you. She's too busy living, leading, and leaving a legacy. And that's what real power looks like.